Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Triangle of Fence. I'm Monish, and today I'm joined by Nishant, who's super happy as you can see because the Lakers returned to the Staples Arena for the playoff game after 2,952 days. And I did not calculate that stat. Genie Bus put it up on Twitter.
Today you're joined मतलब रोज को ना था बे.
Well, I can see the happiness in your face, thrashing of
Yes.
Phoenix Suns. We saw that coming. I mean, I was not surprised at all. The Lakers in 5. That's what you're signaling. We'll talk all about that game. We'll also talk about the Bucks, who are in a hurry to finish the series. They are just going out there and demolishing Miami Heat. It's why Miami Heat shows them some respect. They won the second game by over 30 plus points, and the Denver Nuggets pulled off a close one against the Portland Trail Blazers. We'll start off with the Bucks and the Heat. Giannis just went off 17 points, 17 rebounds. In the first quarter itself, he had like 8-9 rebounds, and Miami Heat was so terrible. This is a stat at halftime. Jimmy Butler shot 6 out of 12. The rest of the team shot 8 out of 32 in the first half. And when you shoot 8 out of 32, there's no way you're winning a team against one of the best offenses in the league, the highest scoring team in the league,
Right.
who averaged 119 points. You're not stopping Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis went off 17 and 17. Jrue Holiday went off 19 and 12. The series is over. Is it even going to 5?
It's like we ask after every game we wonder about this thing and we always conclude this is a sweep. Like
We never saw the Heat getting swept, did we? I mean, we said, well, it'll go to 5, it'll probably go to 6 in 4.
I think like 5 was what I thought, like out of respect for the Heat. But this is a sweep. I'll be shocked if they pick up a game. It's not even close. It's embarrassing watching these contests. Like I give up on the game. A lot of times I come back every once in a few minutes and I watch because I know what's happening. Everyone knows what's happening, and it looks like the Heat know what's happening, and they've just given up. Look, it's not even their defense. The Miami Heat have the Bucks have a potent offense. I get it, but it's not the defense. It's just they are hapless on offense. They have no clue. They're not able to come up with anything. The shots aren't dropping. There's none of that hustle that we saw last season. It just looks like a worn-out, fatigued team. Maybe there's also some injuries at play. But I think mentally the series is over. The season's over for them. It really looks like that. They look dejected out there.
And that's the surprising part, right? Because with Miami Heat, you don't actually see them going down without a fight. They might lose 4-0, but it's always supposed to be a close game. And we saw that in game 1 where they took it to overtime as well. But since then, in game 2 and game 3, they led for a total of 17 seconds.
Yeah.
And that's how bad they've been.
Yeah, I think they've given up, man. I think this is over. And also, it's not just, look, the problem is, and I've only changed my tune in the last 2 months, right? Before that, I'm on the record, even on our pod, saying I think the Miami still have the Giannis stopper formula. And then in the last 2 months, in the latter part of the season, when teams really started testing Giannis and started putting up those walls like they do in the playoffs, I saw this entire new gamut of offensive weapons that Giannis unleashed. Now he's doing Shaq-like drop steps and over-the-shoulder hook shots and those turnaround fadeaways, one-handed. It's so Shaq-like. It's eerily similar. When you've got all these moves, I've seen this movie before. It ends in a championship and a three-peat and 3 finals MVPs. When you've got those kind of offensive weapons, right? And he's more athletic than Shaq, slightly more, though he doesn't have that kind of size.
Yep.
He's a lot more lethal, so he can still damage you in similar fashion.
Right.
So when Giannis does this, when Giannis is hitting you with double-doubles and, of course, his elite AF defense, and Jrue Holiday is hitting you with a double-double of his own in every match with assists every now and then, and his elite defense, and the rest of the team defense so well. But then what do you do when on top of all this, Middleton doesn't seem to be choking anymore? He comes up. I mean, you look at that confidence. He's crossing over, bam, he's taking it to the hoop against Butler. So he's on song. You've got all this going for you. Then you look around and you're like, Brook Lopez is giving you double-digit points. Off the bench, Bobby Portis gives you a near double-double with 11 and 9. Bryn Forbes is showing up, dropping points and hustling so much on defense. This is a squad. These guys are ready now. These guys are ready to legit be a playoff team. They've got shooting, they've got defense, they've got size. They've got offensive capabilities, they've got playmaking. It's an all-round team. These guys are now a proper contender. I wasn't ready to consider them one. I was overly emphasizing Giannis's lack of shooting. But this team has enough to contend as a team now. This is a sweep.
I can't wait for that second round game against the Brooklyn Nets. That's probably going to be the game of the playoffs.
Absolutely.
It's going to go down deep. It's going to be a feisty affair. It's going to be Giannis against Brooklyn, where all 5 of them can't defend him, and then their offense is so good that it'll be it'll be a great matchup for this defense.
Yeah, I really want to see Giannis on KD, especially on the perimeter, because it's not where Giannis is strongest. He can defend you there, but it's not him at his strongest, and it's against possibly the greatest big man shooter the game has ever seen. So
Right. All right, then moving on. We'll go to Denver and Portland's games first. Denver just pulling out a close victory, 121-105. Jokic went off again, 36 points, 11 rebounds. We expected that. Dame Lillard went off again, 37 points. And unlike the last game, he had support today.
Yeah.
CJ McCollum scored 22. Carmelo gave him 18 and Powell gave him 17, something like that. 35 points between the two of them.
yeah,
It was a close game, but their shooting didn't really win it for them. I mean,
Right.
Dame Lillard went 5 out of 16 from deep, and when he has an off day, Portland are not winning because they don't have a defense and they depend on him so much.
neither of them have a
that-
defense.
Well, Denver is okay. I mean,
Okay,
compared
yeah,
to
they're
Portland,
okay.
they're still
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But when Dame Lillard has an off day, and I'm calling it an off day despite him scoring 37 points,
Yeah.
they're not going to win when he shoots 5 from 16.
No, fair enough. I think the bright side, but also what should make them panic now is people turned up. Melo had double digits. And they started off hot. Like even in the third quarter, all 3 guards were already into double digits. Powell, CJ, and Dame Lillard. And then Melo came to the party. So they got all the scoring support they could. It was kind of like the Jazz against the Nuggets, right? Although the Jazz against the Grizzlies. Although the Grizzlies scoring was a lot more lopsided and skewed towards Ja Morant. But still, the flavor of the game was that Grizzlies offense was great, but the Jazz offense was even better. And they defended well, but ultimately the shooting really created that separation. And this was very similar to that. I think both teams had a good showing offensively. You can't complain when so many people give you double-digit points on both sides. I mean, the Denver Nuggets team, the list goes on of the number of people that put points on the board. There are like 9 or 10 players who did that. It's just better offense. And I love this version of this Jokic looks more and more like Embiid, not in play style, but in terms of the approach to the game and the bias towards, like if you had a slider of score points versus play make, he is now skewed heavily to the score points side. Very similar to how Embiid approaches the game, right? And you're seeing him put up Embiid kind of points per game, and the assists have taken a hit. Shouldn't complain. I think he really needs to take on the lion's share of scoring because of Jamal Murray's absence. And when he can get nights like this out of Austin Rivers, they're an unstoppable force.
Right. We had a bunch of guys who got bought out by their teams, right?
Yeah.
Jeff Teague, Blake Griffin, LaMarcus Aldridge as well before his retirement. Austin Rivers has got to be the best pick amongst them all. I mean, he was kind of unwanted in New York after they signed Derrick Rose. And a bunch of teams were looking to sign him, but he would have been their second unit, third unit kind of guy. Like, okay, who can come off the bench, probably score 4-5 points in those 4-5 minutes he plays. Denver Nuggets signed him. Jamal Murray got injured. Fortunately for Austin Rivers, unfortunately for Denver.
Ouch.
He's starting and he's scoring 21 points, including 3 3-pointers in the fourth quarter that kind of clinched the game for them.
Yeah.
What a turnaround for him.
Yeah, he's always been a bit of a shooter, but this is an aberration. It's one of those games. I don't know if it'll sustain throughout, but he's a great asset to have. A 3-and-D guy, a true blue, old school 3-and-D guy. It's been a fun year for buyouts in general, right? I think Austin Rivers was a great pickup. Lakers would benefit immensely from Drummond. Because it just gives them more options and depth between Drummond, Harrell, and Gasol, depending on who their matchup is. Blake Griffin is dunking every game now.
Yeah.
So that was another pickup. So it's been a fun buyout season. But yeah, I think relative to team requirements, I would see Austin Rivers having the highest impact. Although Drummond might go further along the way with the Lakers. But relative to how much the team needs them, Austin Rivers for sure, because he has big shoes to fill in Denver.
Absolutely. You see Portland making a comeback in this series? No? It's going to be done in 5?
Yeah, it should be. I'll be like the Denver Nuggets will have to kick themselves if they let it drag on, because Portland really came to the party with their offense. Yes, Dame Lillard missed shots, but he took a bunch of them also. And they got the ball back, blah, 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 gave it to Lillard. It just didn't happen for them. Like they did their best offensively. There's nothing they can do defensively. And the Nuggets just outscored them. In a shootout, unless Dame Lillard goes hot, and which he did, by the way, in game 2, and didn't get any support. Today he got support. There are like too many things that need to fall into place for Portland to win. Like Dame Lillard needs to get hot from 3. A bunch of players need to support the scoring. There needs to be some modicum of defense, but who's going to play it? all of the guys that can defend in Portland are too small to defend Jokic, who's the guy that you should defend the most. So it's a lopsided battle. I don't see them coming back.
And we got to talk about the third game now. Lakers returning to the Staples Arena after so many years, playoff scenario. You said yesterday that you expect the Showtime Lakers to show up, and show up they did. I mean, would you call them Showtime Lakers or were they bully ball Lakers? Because Phoenix Suns absolutely got bullied out of this game.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis out there, you couldn't get the ball off him. 34 points again, 11 rebounds. LeBron James being LeBron James himself, he's kind of sidestepped and he's like letting the younger guys take all the credit and run the show. But despite all that, he gets those miraculous numbers, 22, 5, 7. Every single game, he has almost a triple-double.
Yeah.
Now, this is the Lakers we knew from last season. After they lose game 1, you see that they turn up. And is it a repeat of that again?
Yeah. This is Lakers in 5. I told you after game 1, I said Lakers in 5. Look, it's unfair. And I say this with all due respect to the Phoenix Suns. They're the second best team in the league in terms of numbers. But it's really unfair to them because, like I said, it's an asymmetric matchup. So it's the net difference between it's LeBron and AD versus Ayton and whoever else they put in the front court. Let's say Bridges, and then which is the Lakers' strength, and then it's the strength of the Phoenix Suns, which is the backcourt of Chris Paul and Booker against Schroeder and KCP and whoever. Like the net difference of all these battles is what decides the series by and large. It's an asymmetric battle because, unlike Booker and CP3, who are okay on defense, they're not bad. Schroeder and KCP are both great defenders in a stifling Lakers defense that's been set up outstandingly well by Vogel. They have the number one defense even without LeBron and AD on the court. They suffered offensively, didn't at all defensively. So it's an uphill climb for the two guards in Phoenix's backcourt. Then Ayton has to deal with AD, which for a game he did really well. And I told you it's not going to last. When AD shows up and when AD plays aggressively, there is nobody in the West that can match up. That was true last season. It's true this season. In the entire league, I can only think of Giannis and Embiid that can hope to contend against AD. I really don't see anyone else giving him any kind of contest. And AD came out aggressive in both games. Look at the number of free throws he took in game 2 or the number of times he drove to the rack in this game, right? So it's tough. I don't see Phoenix really coming back from this. And look, Lakers are now finally playing to their strengths. This is as showtime as it gets with this lot of players, by the way. They don't really have like a Kobe style finisher or like a Magic style run the floor guy. LeBron can do it, but why expend all that energy, right? So once they start playing like this and to their strengths and not forcing up 3 shots, where it's never really been their thing. The Lakers have never been a great 3 shooting team. So they did what they do best. They stifled the Phoenix Suns on defense. They got the ball back a number of times, forced a bunch of turnovers, got a bunch of unforced turnovers also because of the pressure that they created. Picked up the ball, and then they're lightning quick on in transition offense. All of them run it exceptionally well. Kuz, Caruso, Schroeder, KCP, LeBron, AD, you take your pick. They're all outstanding at transition offense. And they punish them in the paint. I think by the start of the third quarter or a few minutes into the third quarter, the Lakers had as many points in the paint as Utah Jazz had in the entire game, and they scored 140 plus. So they're playing to their strengths. It's too much, and this is LeBron just snoozing his way through most of the game. He hasn't even flexed yet. I just don't see any scenario where Phoenix can overcome.
Yeah, for me, the Phoenix Suns were a team that would always fight. Like the Miami Heat, they would put the effort, be there in contention always, right? Today it looked like they were frustrated. I mean, it was too much of a difference to overcome, and then Booker got ejected, and then Jay Crowder got ejected, and then that's when you know that they lost it. Like, there's no coming back from this. It's kind of a giving up kind of a statement where you get ejected with a minute to go, and I don't see the Phoenix Suns bouncing back from this. I was hopeful, and then I saw the last 2 minutes, and I'm like, they've given up already.
Yeah.
So Lakers in 5 then?
Yes, sir.
All right. So those are the games for today. Fun matchups coming up tomorrow. Boston Celtics might just go home.
Yeah, that's another sweep
against Brooklyn.
So,
that's a matter of time. It's a matter of when, and not a matter of if.
Philly against the Wizards, right? That's also tomorrow.
No, the Knicks take on the Hawks in the other game. That's going to be a fun game.
Yeah,
That's
that'll
the
be a
one
fun
I'm
one.
looking forward to. Trae
yeah.
Young has to come back after his loss, and then
Back to
the
the
Atlanta
A.
crowd will make themselves heard, I'm sure.
I love
So
that crowd. It's a feisty. This series, the crowd is legit the 12th man for both, or the 6th man in basketball's case,
Sixth
I
man.
suppose, in both series. And it's going to be fun. It's a feisty bunch of folks they have in Atlanta.
And the Clippers need to make a comeback as soon as possible. I mean, they're 2-0 down. They travel to Dallas. If they go 3-0 down, no team has bounced back from a 3-0. Not like they're bouncing back from this, but they don't want to make it close as possible. So the Clippers take on the Mavs in the other game.
Nah.
Is that a sweep as well?
Looks like a sweep. Maybe they'll pick one game. The day I'll believe in the Clippers, even nicking more than a game, forget winning the series, when they show enough courage for one of their elite players to pick up Luka Doncic full time. Every second he's on the floor, there's got to be either Paul George or Kawhi on the floor guarding him directly. Till they don't do that, this team is afraid of Luka. They fear they'll get embarrassed. Luka has played what now? 6 and 2, 8 playoff games, I think. They won in 6, right? Last time, Clippers. Yeah. So 8 playoff games in his entire life. All 8 have come against the Clippers. All 8 he has tossed their ass regardless of the result.
They're almost averaging a triple-double there.
Yeah, they're afraid of him till I see that change. The series is over. I don't care. 4, 5, 6 we can debate, but the series is over.
All right, then we'll see what happens. But that's all the time I have for you today. We'll catch up after tomorrow's games.
All right, cheers, man.
Bye.